Deep in the heart of the zombie hive, you stare in numb horror at the gaunt, monstrous figure before you, a twisted reflection of your most painful hopes and deepest nightmares. This can't be possible. She struggles to her feet, limbs trembling, amber eyes flashing as they dart around the chamber. I don't understand. Who is that? Why does she look like Faith? Oh God, it's Patricia. Hold on, Patricia isn't Faith's sister. Heroically sacrificed herself to buy time for your escape, Patricia? That's the one. I can't believe. This is a trick. You're just trying to screw with me. That thing isn't actually Patricia. But it looks just like her. There's no way. You saw Patricia's wound, and you heard that shot that killed her. Okay, but did you see her die? Was there a body? No, we never went back to check. I never would have thought. The older zombie queen watches you with cruel amusement. Perfect, isn't she? How lucky that you could be here for the rebirth. Patricia suddenly doubles over as if in pain. You don't realize you've started walking forward until Eli grabs your shoulder. What the hell are you doing? Just watch my back, okay? You shoot a wary look at the queen standing nearby. You take a few steps closer to Patricia, crouching down to put your face at her level. Patricia, it's me. It's Faith. You hold out your hand and she flinches away, glaring at you suspiciously. It's alright. I'm here. Ever tried communicating with a zombie? Yep, we're doing that. We're trying. Faith. Just give me a second. We're out of seconds, look! Tearing your eyes away from Patricia, you follow Eli's gaze to the entrance of the chamber, where dozens of pale, hungry eyes gleam in sickly orange light. Drones pack the entrance, completely blocking your escape. All around, glowing pods start to ripple and shift, their tops splitting open to disgorge more hulking, twisted shapes. Oh crap. Mom B was stalling us. No, 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 no. Strangely, the zombies don't rush to attack. They move to surround you, pinning you in. But they hold back, looking to the queen as if waiting for instructions. They're everywhere. What do we do? You die. Patricia throws herself at you with a feral snarl, knocking you off your feet and pinning you to the bone-shattering ground. Die! Faith! Troy lunges forward, smashing his pipe against her back. She hisses in pain and lashes out with a vicious backhand blow that sends him reeling. Ah! Seizing the moment of distraction, you twist your body hard, freeing your weapon and throwing Patricia off balance. Patricia quickly recovers, pulling back one clawed hand to strike, then freezes as your blade rests against her throat. Patricia's eyes flick down to your weapon, then back to your face. Her brow furrows as she's struggling to remember something. Patricia, you're my sister. I'm so sorry. This one's tough. It's honestly tough. I wouldn't be glad she's in this monstrous state. I abandoned you in that cellar. I let them take you. I don't know if you'll ever forgive myself for that. But maybe we can make it right. Shannon's been researching the parasite. She can help you. Help. You vaguely aware that the surrounding zombies are getting agitated, and what sounds like a scuffle breaks out beyond the cavern entrance. Your focus remains locked on Patricia's face. Hurts. Everything hurts. And so... Something flickers behind those burning eyes, a hint of something like a recognition. But just as quickly as it appeared, it's gone. Hungry. She moves so fast you barely realize what's happening. Your weapon is torn from stinging hands, and Patricia's claws arc towards your throat in a merciless slash. No! The blow never falls. A sharp boom shakes the chamber, and Patricia jerks back with an inhuman scream. She retreats, clutching at a bloody, mangled shoulder. Snatching up your weapon, you roll to your feet to see a grinning figure standing over you, smoke still rising from his shotgun. Oh, no you didn't. Sup, Splitter? Knuckles, what are you doing here? Kicking ass and saving yours. Behind him, you see Sledge and a handful of raiders fighting alongside your friends, clearing a path to the exit. Faith, we have to go! But... no buts, move or die. Looking around, you see that Patricia's already fallen back behind several rows of zombies. She glares at you, eyes full of hatred as dark blood runs down her arm. Damn it. You turn away, dashing towards the exit as Sledge's raiders hold back the attacking zombies. The Queen's voice calls out, mocking, as you pass into the dark tunnels of the hive. We'll see you soon, Faith. Hopefully you're all having a great day. Sorry this is a bit late, but life is a thing. Hey, look, it's a bottle of Jack. Chapter 17, Shadows of the Past. Clutch May tight to your chest as you sit in the back of Sledge's vehicle. You can feel her trembling and shivering against you, almost catatonic with fear. Shh, you're okay now. You gently stroke her hair as you stare out the window, but you can't stop thinking about Patricia, the hope, then crushing disappointment of seeing what she had become. Sledge, why'd you come for us? Figured you might need some help. I thought you voted against the rescue mission. I did, and now you see why I thought it was a stupid idea. You feel a hand on your shoulder. You turn to see Troy looking at you with concern. You okay? Am I okay? Not even a little. I just learned that my sister is alive but a monster. How could I possibly be okay? You're right. Dumb question. I'm sorry, it's just a lot. I know. You ride in silence for a while. On the seat behind you, Shannon turns a sample vial over and over in her hands. What's that? It's a sample of the fluid from Patricia's pod. Damn, how'd you get that? Everything was so chaotic after Sledge showed up, the zombies were distracted, so I sort of ran up to the pod and grabbed some. What for? To see if maybe she could revert the parasite inside of her sister. I'm not really sure, but I think I might be able to do something with it. Hopefully it contains some of the Queen's parasite, so I can... The vehicle slows suddenly and comes to a stop. Sledge rolls down her window and leans out of it, shouting at one of the other raider cars. Boots, handle the pile up. I'll keep an eye on the perimeter. Got it. Boots pulls his car forward, and for the first time you notice a heavy bar of metal protruding from the front. What the hell is that thing? It's a pneumatic ram for clearing cars. We shouldn't have to wait long. Pneumatic? Oh, damn. I gotta see that in action. Angel throws open the door and jumps out, running full speed after Boots' car. Eli puts his hand on your shoulder. Faith, you should go with her. You stare at him blankly. Why? I'm sure you could use a fresh air, and the rest of us can watch May while you're gone. I know better than anyone how easy it is to shut down when the feelings are too much. It might be good to get some of that out. Smashing a bunch of cars certainly sounds like it'd be cathartic. Might even knock some goodies loose while you're at it. Diamond choice. Destroy some cars. I'll give it a shot. You pass May over to Shannon and climb out of the car, slowly making your way over to Boots and Angel. Angel is already in the driver's seat. She pulls a lever, and the ram in the front latches out, slamming into another car, sending it skidding across the asphalt with a massive dent in its side. Now this is how it's done. Her eyes land on you, and she hops out, beckoning you over. Faith, you've got to give this a try. How does it work? Hop in, I'll show you. Angel gives you an elaborate bow and helps you climb inside. Dozens of glowing buttons and strange levers cover the dash. Boots gestures at a panel on the right. Alright, these are all you need to worry about. First lever changes the height and angle. The third activates it. Got it. As Boots shuts the door, you pull the car forward to another one that Angel's already hit. Still blocking the road, there's another car about 10 feet behind it and a tree to the left. I'll smash into the other car. The ram is already in the correct position, so you place your hand on the final lever and take a deep breath. Here goes. You pull down on the lever, and the ram shoots forward, smashing into the car's already dented side and sending it careening right into the other vehicle. Glass shatters as the windows break into pieces, and there's loud crunch of metal as the two cars impact, welding together, or melding. The impact throws you back in your seat, slamming you in the leather and rattling your head. Ooh, nice one. Angel's cheers fade away as your heartbeat pounds in your ears, the adrenaline releasing all the pent-up anger that's been simmering since you left the hive. That the Queen killed all those people, what she did to Patricia, how you left your sister to die when you could have done something to save her to prevent this. You see red as your eyes lock onto a bus lying on the side in the middle of the road. Throw it into a building. Just keep hitting it. Throw it into a building. You hit the gas, whip the car around so the bus is between you and a half-rotted wooden building. Yanking on the final lever, the ram rockets forward and sends the bus skidding right into the structure. Take that. All you can hear are the sounds of metal whining and wood snapping as the nearest wall collapses. The roof follows after, throwing up a huge cloud of dust, and when it clears, there's nothing left of the building but rubble. Whoa. As your hand falls away from the lever, you stare at the wreckage in front of you, vision blurred and clenching your fists. You sit like that for a long moment, and as adrenaline fades, you're surprised to find your face is wet, tears spilling freely. You wipe at your eyes, but you can't seem to stop crying. Angel jogs over, leaning her head in through the open window. Hey, you okay? Oh. Without another word, she opens the door, squeezes into the seat beside you, wrapping her arm around your shoulders. Angel, I could use a hug. I've got you. She wraps her arm around the front of you and squeezes you tight, the pressure reassuring even as you let out a sob. I'm sorry, Faith. I know it's hard to believe when people say they know how you feel, but I do. Losing someone, it never gets easier. I lost my parents twice, and the second time still hurt just as much as the first. How do I keep going? By finding people to help. All of us here are for you, Faith. We aren't going anywhere. Why don't we let Boots take over? There are only a few cars left anyway. You nod and let Angel guide you out of the car, but as you're headed back to Sledge, you notice a bright red box in the front seat of one of the cars you hit. His windshield shattered from the impact. What's that? You gingerly reach through the broken window to pick up the box and open it only to find... Hey, first aid. Good eye. Now we'll have some medical supplies for the solstice. You and Angel climb back into Sledge's car, and it's not long before you're speeding down the road again. Eli glances over at you. Feeling any better? Yeah, I think I am. A little over a day on the road brings you back to Ohio. The guards let you in as you climb out of the Sledge's vehicle. May, fast asleep in your arms. A furious Dirk approaches. Oh, of course he does. What the hell do you think you're doing? You went against the council's vote. What's the point of even having a coalition if you're just going to run off and do your own thing? Eli steps in front of you, shielding you from Dirk's anger. Keep it down, May sleeping. I don't give a crap. You don't care that Faith was right? That May's still alive? That's not what I said, but all that for what? One person? Is May the only one you got back? Would you rather she was dead? Enough. What's done is done, and this little girl has been through a worse hell than you can imagine. I'm taking May to her room. You can drag me over the coals later. Dirk scowls, but he doesn't stop you as you walk past him and towards the lodge. The others follow, speaking quietly. Hey, Dirk, guess what? Patricia's alive. Quit your bitching. Want to work with me? I guarantee you would then. Looks like they cleared out another plot while we were gone. Any thoughts on what to build there? Might not be bad to have a school. Keep the kids out of trouble, have them learn something in the process. I'm sure May would like that. Schools are fine, but I feel we should be doing something to get ready for whatever the Z-Bag Queen sends our way. Angel's right. A weapons workshop would ensure fighters are well armed for the solstice. I'm gonna go with the weapons workshop. Oh no, it's research, isn't it? Yeah, you know, never hurts to help. This would be last place, wouldn't it? This would be the last place to build. you see, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. The few would be the school, right? This one's tough. This one's really tough. Weapons workshop, because the solstice is a one-time thing, but you do need to always be prepared for zombies, right? So that's what I'm looking at. And also it helps with research score. I mean, technically it should be a combo package if you really think about it. That is a choice. It should be 2 for 1. The school should be research and morale. The weapons thing should be research and technically fortifications, if you think about it. The solstice is almost upon us. We need to manufacture as many weapons as we can before the queen shows up with her horde. I agree. I'll get out on it. You carry May back to her room. A feather stirs from a nearby armchair, eyes going wide with amazement when she sees May. You found her! He rushes over and pulls her into his arms, holding her tight against his chest. May sniffles as she squeezes him back. Feather... You were gone for so long, I thought, well... Never mind what I thought. What matters is you're here. What about the others? Are they... You slowly shake her head as Feather sets May down on her bed. He nods solemnly and gently strokes her hair. She was the only one. I see. I know the others didn't want you to leave, Faith, but thank you for not listening to them, for getting her back. I couldn't just let them take her. She needs some rest. And everything that happened, it was tough. Do you think you can keep an eye on her tonight? Of course. I'll look after her. As you turn towards the door, May catches your hand and squeezes it hard. Don't go, please. I wish I didn't have to, but there's still work to be done. Everyone else, you took all of them. All of them are gone except me. Why am I the only one who made it back? I don't know. May, sometimes bad stuff happens, and there isn't a reason for it. Yeah, it's called survivor's guilt. I don't want to lose anyone else. She starts to cry again, sob, shaking her tiny frame, and you can't help but sit back down beside her. You pull her close and gently stroke her hair. I don't know if I can sleep. I just keep thinking about that place. Do you think a story might help? She gives a tiny nod, eyes still blurry with tears, as she looks up at you. I happen to know one about a brave princess who was so kind and clever. She saved her whole kingdom. Diamond choice. Tell her a story. I'll go get her a glass of water, some snacks, just in case she needs them tonight. As Feather leaves the room, May snuggles down beneath the duvet, pulling the covers up just below her chin. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there was a young princess named May. Me? I'm the princess? You're the closest to a princess that I've ever met. Cool. Now, May was bored of her life in the royal castle. She wanted to have adventures, to fight orcs and goblins, and save the kingdom from evil witches. And one morning she finally decided it was time. If adventure wouldn't come to her, she'd go out and find it. Today's the day. I'm finally getting out of here. But how would she escape? The guards would never let her leave, and she'd have to come up with a plan. I'll disguise myself as a servant, hide in a basket of laundry, make a rope and climb down. Hide in a basket of laundry, since how small she is. She pulled the top layer of the laundry out of the basket, climbed inside, and settled the clothes back on top of her. She waited some time before the maid came into the room and lifted the basket with a grunt. My, the laundry is heavy today. May stayed quiet as a mouse, and when she finally sat down, she peeked out to see she was already beyond the palace walls. When the maid's back was turned, she leapt out of the basket and took off into the city. I knew that would work. She quickly found herself in the market, where people were shouting and running through the muddy streets. She could smell all sorts of things: baking bread, pies, soup, spices at the market stall, wood smoke on the wind. And there were a lot of cows and pigs and pens right by the road, so you can imagine what that smelled like. May giggles. Gross. Totally. Princess May quickly grew bored of the city. There were no adventures here either, so she made her way into the woods surrounding the town. The forest was dark and mysterious. The wind whistled through the trees, and the bushes rustled all around, either from animals or something else. This place is scary. She wondered if it was a good idea to leave the castle after all. No, I can't give up now. I just got here. She knew she would be in trouble the moment she went back to the palace. She had to make the most of her day of freedom. She walked along the forest trail for a while, and when her stomach rumbled, she sat on a fallen tree and ate an apple she'd brought with her. That was when she heard the howl. Oh! What could that be? Birds fluttered, took in flight in panic, but as the rest of the forest fell silent, May hurried after the noise, and that was when she found a puppy sitting on the ground and crying. Oh, oh. What's the matter? The puppy jumped in surprise. Who are you? My name's May. What's yours? I'm Shannon. Shannon, like our Shannon? Oh boy. Just like our Shannon. Okay, it kind of fits. Why are you crying? A horrible dragon has taken my friends. Then we just have to go and rescue them. We can't possibly defeat a dragon. I've studied them extensively and they're very strong and powerful. Well, yes, we can, because we'll be together. If we work as a team, there's nothing that can beat us. Shannon led the princess through the woods until they came to the entrance of a massive cave. Inside they heard the mighty roar of what could only be the dragon. She's gonna be okay, isn't she, Faith? You have to let me finish telling the story if you want to find out. The princess was very scared, but she knew she had to help Shannon's friends. There was no one else they could rely on. Do you want to stay out here, Shannon? No, it might be scary, but I'm going to help my friends. The two of them crept into the cavern, careful not to make a sound, and as they peeked around the corner, they saw the mighty dragon.
Stop fighting!
You can't keep us prisoners forever!
You are not prisoners, you are my guests!
Yes, we're in cages, you massive jerk.
Seriously, if you wanted company, you could have just invited us over for dinner.
Those are my friends, Eli, the lynx, Angel, the bird, and Troy, the raccoon. What's the dragon's name? I don't know. I've never met her before today. You realize how much Inception this is, right? Like, I am literally, I am reading a story in a story. Princess May took hold of the stout stick she'd picked up in the forest and stepped forward to face the massive creature. He'd wheel on her with angry growl.
Who are you?
I'm Princess May. My parents rule these lands. That means you're my subject and have to do what I say. I command you to release them.
No.
But you have to listen to me, for I am a princess.
I don't care. I'm big and strong dragon and I don't have to listen to anyone.
Princess May frowned, and that wasn't how it was meant to go. In the books she'd read, the heroes always fought the scary monster, but as she looked around the dragon's cave, she saw it was mostly empty. It was kind of sad, to be honest. Let me them go, or I'll boop you in the nose.
You wouldn't dare!
You watch me. She smacked the stick right on the dragon's big nose, and it recoiled, more from surprise than pain.
Ow!
Now, are you gonna be nice and let everyone out of the cages?
I guess.
With a wave of her massive clawed hand, the dragon opened all the cages. The animals came bounding out, and Shannon raced to join them.
Now you're all going to leave.
Why? Why did you kidnap everyone in this place? The dragon pouted and looked away. You know, if you want to be someone's friend, all you have to do is ask.
Everyone runs away from me before I can.
Well, there's a bunch of us here now.
Do you want to be my friends?
Of course, but I think I should probably learn your name first.
It's Sledge.
Oh boy. What about the rest of you? Do you want to be friends with Sledge? Having a dragon friend would be pretty cool. Then I would love to learn more about your culture.
I'd finally have someone else to fly with.
And everyone turned to Eli. I guess as long as you don't try and kidnap us again. And so, from that day on, Princess May and all the animals were best of friends. The end. Literally, I give voices to voices. Send help. May gets a big yawn and smiles up at you sleepily. It was a really good story. You give her a soft kiss on the head as she curls up in the sheets, her eyes sliding shut tiredly. Good night, May. Sleep well. Feather gives you a nod from where he's been. He's reappeared in the doorway, and you let him take watch over May as you head out for your bedroom. You're making your way through the lobby when you see Dirk sitting by the fire, etching pictures into the wooden table with a bread knife. He glances up as you approach. Ready to talk, or are you still pissed at me from earlier? We could talk, but what would be the point? What would it achieve? If it's any consolation, I'm sorry for how things have been between us. I'm done. I don't like arguing. A heavy silence falls between you until finally Dirk sighs and gets to his feet. Do you have time to take a walk? It won't take long. I just want to go to the wall to show you what I see. Don't we see the same thing? I don't know. When I look out over the countryside, I see how far we came, how much we sacrificed to get here. Right. It's where I go when I want to think. It puts everything into perspective. You sigh, thinking longingly of your bed, but you decide to meet Dirk halfway. Okay, fine. Let's go. You and Dirk exit the lodge and head out on the lawn, making your way over to the fences as you walk the perimeter. Faith, I'm sorry. What for? Questioning your decisions. It's nothing personal, I want what's best for Io. So do I, Dirk. I know we don't always agree, but everything I've done has been to ensure the safety of the colony and everyone in it. Dirk lets out a sigh as he peers over the fence, staring out into the night. I never wanted to be your leader, Dirk. Patricia was always a strong one. If she'd made you trail off, uncertain how to even broach the subject of Patricia turning into a queen zombie. It's hard enough to wrap your own head around. You're jolted from your thoughts as Dirk keeps speaking. She didn't think that. She knew you'd be a leader someday. Remember the time you got suspended from school for talking back to one of the teachers? Which time? Fair point. It was right before you graduated, before you started working. Oh, yeah. Patricia was pissing. I'm sorry, did I misread that? What? It wasn't you getting suspended that made her upset. Play as Dirk in this flashback to learn what Patricia said about you. And diamond choice. Tell me what Patricia